New figures show that 529 college savings balances have reached a record. Total investments this year hit an all-time high of nearly $330 billion. That's up 3% in the last 6 months alone. The average 529 account balance is now more than $24,000. But despite the tax benefits, fewer than half of parents use these accounts to save for higher education.
So even with the total number of 529 accounts at new highs, families are still relying on financial aid more than ever as college costs continue to climb. A new survey shows parents are also not willing to take on as much debt as they were in the past. Senior personal finance correspondent Sharon Epperson is with us once again today. Good to see you, Sharon.
Good to be here.
All right, so they're saving more. 529 balances are high, but they're not willing to take on more debt.
That's good news. The parents are saying, no, we're not going to take on all this student debt ourselves. A year ago, more than a quarter of parents were saying that they would take on $75,000 or more in debt. This year, only 14% of parents are saying that, according to a new T. Rowe Price study. And 25% say they'll take on between $25,000 and $75,000 in debt. 61% are saying it's got to be $25,000 or less. We're not going to take on more than that.
So they're being smarter about taking on debt, but there's still a gap when it comes to paying for college. So how do they close that gap?
There's a major gap. When you look at what they're saying they're able to pay, 75% of parents are saying, I can only pay some of this. And only 6% are saying they can pay all of it. So what are they doing to bridge that gap? It's scholarships and loans that is the most of it. But some kids are going to have to work, and some parents are going to use some of their regular income to cover it. And then you have student loans. Either the kids are paying for these student loans or the parents are paying, and often both.
All right, so if you want to get a I'm taking notes because I've got two that are going in shortly. If you want to do financial aid, fine. If you want to do scholarships and grants, how early do you have to apply for that?
Well, it's all part of the financial aid package often. And so even though a school or a state deadline may be a while away, you want to try to do the free application for federal student aid as soon as it becomes available. And that's Monday, October 1st. So you can start October 1st to start applying for financial aid for the 2019-2020 school year. And what you have to get together, and you can start this weekend, is get those federal tax returns together, bank statements, investment records, and you can even start using on Monday the My Student Aid app that the Department of Education is putting out to try to make it simpler for people. The thing to know, though, is to really try to do this as soon as possible. October 1st is when you can start, but the earlier you do it, the better, because sometimes this aid is on a first-come, first-served basis, and you want to get as much as possible.
Bill is smiling because he's done.
He's so happy.
I know what you're doing this weekend.
And Sue and I, this is all we're going to be talking about.
I'm not quite there yet. I've got 2 years to go, but nonetheless, thanks, Sharon,
Thank you,
as
Sharon,
always.
very much.
Sharon Epperson.